There are 4 ways to make more money as a real estate agent, and I'm breaking this down into different quadrants. I hear this time and time again where real estate agents do not hit their income goals. They don't hit their GCI goals. They definitely don't hit their profit goals by the end of the year. And this isn't just for real estate agents either. Like, these are business owners in general. They may start out the beginning of the year, the beginning of the quarter, wanting to make, $200,000 or whatever the amount is, and they only end up making a fraction of that or half of that, whatever it is, not that full amount, because they are focused on the wrong things. Or they're not focused on enough of the things. So a lot of people tend to focus in the top left quarter of this quadrant and not enough on the other 3. I'm gonna cover all 4 though in this video. My name is Ali Garced. I have been a real estate agent for 3 years, and my first year I made $120,000 as a part-time agent because I was still full-time active duty Air Force. My first year that I was doing this full-time, I made $200,000 GCI, and that was just from commissions. That didn't even include around the $30,000-ish that I made in revenue share. And now I help real estate agents go from 10 transactions a year to 20 plus. I give every single agent that joins me and names me as a sponsor at EXP the entire playbook, all the systems, all the automations that I do. We meet one-on-one and we meet with group coaching because I realize that this is the stuff that I like doing the most. I love helping people leave their W-2 and become a full-time real estate agent. Now, it's very, very, very difficult for people to go from 0 to 10. I focus on helping those going from 10 to 20 because I want to make sure that you are 100% committed in this business. And I hear this time and time again, like, yeah, I'm 100% committed. And then people wash out. This business is not for everyone. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So how is it that some real estate agents are closing 200 or 100 houses a year and you're closing 30, or you're closing 10, 15. Those other agents likely know exactly how much return they are getting for each lead gen source. They know exactly all of their expenses. They know their income. They track everything. So they know the best return on money, return on time, and return on energy. As I uncover these 4 quadrants, chances are majority of the time that you have spent focusing on making more money has been in one of the quadrants. So let's start with that top left quadrant. What do real estate agents do when they want to or need to make more money is they just turn on the faucet and they try to get more leads. So increasing leads is the top left quadrant. Usually that's the go-to. That is the default when real estate agents are like, hey, I want to make more money. Okay, let's double down on Zillow leads. Let's pay more for a realtor. Let's pay more for the billboards, for the phone calls, RedX. Let me send out more mailers. Let me start sending mailers more consistently. Let me do more open houses to get in front of new clients. Let me pay a social media company so I can get new followers. It's all about new. So what a lot of real estate agents do is they just throw more money into the sources that they're already doing. Sometimes they'll spread it out evenly. Sometimes they'll just throw a big chunk of money into just one lead source without even truly knowing if that lead source is worth their time, is worth their energy, is worth their money. So if every time you send some mailers out, it costs about $300, but now you want more leads, you want more clients, you want more closings, so therefore you're deciding to either double down on that zip code or that neighborhood or start a new neighborhood that's going to be, double the money. How much money is that going to be exactly? How much money has that resulted in you already getting business from the mailers that you have already sent out? Assume that you've sent out mailers for at least 18 months in a row, every single month. Are you tracking all of this in a spreadsheet? Every single person in my community that joins me at Exp Realty has access to this tracker. This tracker is gold. I talk about trackers a lot and it's so boring, but guess what? It freaking works. So this is the tracker that I do. I put it in my calendar to analyze every single beginning of the month to go over last month's efforts. So it has all of my lead generation sources. We track how many contacts came out from that, how many contracts did we sign because of that, how many closings did we have? How much money did we make? How much money did we spend? And what is the ROI? We track this month after month, lead source by lead source, quarter after quarter. And in the first tab, it gives you an annual summary. If you don't have anything similar to this, ask your broker. They'll be able to give you one. If your broker does not have anything similar to this, then that's not that good. Maybe you should consider joining us at EXP because this is just 1% of what we offer. But overall, this portion should not take long. Because you have been tracking this month after month with every single lead gen source that you do, this should be a quick glance. Pretty much all you would have to do is just look at that first tab, the year summary, and look up what is the highest ROI. Whatever that is, That is what you should be focused on, putting more to increasing the leads, instead of willy-nilly saying, oh, well, I think I got like a couple of closings from open houses, so let me just do more open houses. Because open houses, simply doing more open houses is not scalable. There are things that are scalable. So overall, this increasing leads, it should not be a gut feeling. It should be black and white. It should be numbers that you are looking at and analyzing. Like mailers, lowest. Open houses weren't that bad, but you know what the best one was YouTube videos. Because if you are running your business based off of emotions and gut feelings, gut feeling isn't that bad, but if you're basing your business off of emotions, you're not going to last. Or if you do last, it's going to be a very hard run for you. So now let's move on to the top right quadrant, and that is going to be increasing the value of each client. So the difference there is, instead of just turning on more leads, how can it make each lead that I get even more valuable? Overall, this portion is going to deal with your systems and your scripts, and really your sphere of influence and past clients. But I think the biggest portion is just your systems. So how do you make each client more valuable to you? You either have them become a repeat client, so you help them buy and then maybe buy again, or buy and then sell. But either way, you have to maintain touch with them. And to maintain touch with them, in order for them to hire you again, you have to do a good fucking job the first time. And you can't do a good job unless you have systems, which we give you. And once you have helped them purchase once, maybe purchased again, maybe a sale in between, maybe another sale, they're going to start referring you because you did so well on them. So they're going to talk to their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, their friends, their whatever, and they're going to give you referral business. If you don't want to spend money on ads to get clients forever, which in my opinion is the laziest way to go about getting clients, but it is also one of the fastest ways, instead of just paying money, like all the money just that you're throwing into ads while nothing is coming out of referrals, over time, what you want to be doing, especially if you're somewhat new, what you want to be doing is taking the money that you spent on those clients starting out and having them go into your sphere and referral. So every single month, quarter, year, you should be spending a little bit less on ads to get strangers and instead focused more on the sphere that you have already helped and have done a good service on. So that way, over time, you end up looking like this, where you really don't have to spend a lot or anything at all on ads. And instead, you already have paid for those ads for these clients that now you have worked to help become repeat clients and raving clients. Who is the best avatar for you? What kind of client can you help service the best? As soon as you meet somebody, when do you put them into your CRM? When do you start the follow-up campaign? How do you do the follow-up campaign? How do you communicate with them? Is it pop-bys? Is it phone calls? Is it texts? Is it emails? Is it bomb videos? These are some of the activities that you could implement into your business to help increase each client's value to your business. Starting off with number one, you can just straight up tell them. You can tell them, hey, I'm going to be your real estate agent for life. I'm going to be your real estate advisor for life. You can tell them that during the transaction, which is what I shamelessly do, but start setting that expectation. Similar, the way I think about it is a PCM. Everyone has a primary care physician or primary care, what does the M stand for in the military? Whatever. A primary care doctor, right? You don't just see a new primary care doctor every single time you go to a visit. You have the same one. Why not the same thing for real estate? So I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be your real estate agent for life. Any single resource that you need, whether it's a contractor, a vendor, a painter, I got you. And if you have already serviced the client and now you're thinking about how do you increase the value of your past clients to have them become repeat clients, it's just picking up the phone and calling them, it's texting them, it's saying, hey, you've been in your house for, say they haven't been in the house for a year yet, say it's been less or even more, but it's that awkward like 13 months, it's not like an anniversary. That's fine. Pick up the phone and say, hey, Annie, you've been in your home for 13 months. How has everything been going? And as a service to you, I want to give you an up-to-date home analysis so that way you know ballpark what your home is worth. Of course, I haven't been in your home in the last like 13 months-ish, but I want you to know just so you have it in case you're looking to sell. I know you're probably not because you just got into the house. Is that something that you'd like? And they're usually like, yeah, sure, okay, thanks. And then that's when you can say, okay, sweet, I can drop it off tomorrow, or I can drop it off on Saturday. Does that work around 2? Or they're like, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna be there, blah, blah. Okay, I'll just mail it to you. I'll mail it, I'll give it a couple of days, and I'll give you a call so that way I can go over it with you because it's kind of gonna look a little bit funky with all these numbers and I wanna make sure that you fully know what you're reading. It'll only take 10 minutes. That's like number one. Number two is to call them and just to ask for more business, referral business. Hey, who else do you know? I serviced you, I helped you get a property $15,000 below appraisal price. Who else do you know that I can help also do the same thing? A third way that I help increase my clients' value is by sending them the shred method. So the shred method, in case you guys haven't heard of it, is, I'm a raving fan of this. It's a way to pay off your mortgage in years or months instead of decades. I personally have used it. Everyone in Five Pillars community had access to it starting from like 3 years ago when we first got introduced to it. We all have a discount for the program, and I'm an affiliate. So every single client that I help, I tell them, hey, there is a way for you to pay off your mortgage very, very fast. There are a couple of requirements though. So if you want, here's the number, here's how to apply just to see if you would even want to proceed with it. And of course, I tell them, I put my money where my mouth is. I personally have done this and I can personally vouch for it. That's how I paid off one of my rental properties in 4 months. Because if you are able to help a buyer client pay off their mortgage within months, or even if it's a couple of years instead of 30 years, 3 decades, don't you think they're going to be becoming a raving fan? They're going to become a huge fan. Like, they're going to love you. A fourth and obvious way to increase the value of each client would be the obvious, which is change the market, increase the price point. Maybe instead of selling $300,000 homes, you should now sell $600,000 homes, maybe $800,000. If you're already selling $1 million, maybe do $2 million. Start getting in front of wherever those people are, because pretty much you're going to be doing the same work and then just getting paid more for it. And speaking of getting paid more, number 5 would be to charge whatever you want. Being that there is no standard commission, being that there is no, common or commissions are negotiable, negotiate what you're worth. You don't have to do, whatever percentage you've been doing. You could do more. Does the value that you're charging for that service match? How can you make the value that you provide match the price that you want to charge? Decide what you're worth and work with the clients that know your worth. The third way to make more money as a real estate agent is in the bottom left quadrant. Now, we are talking about decreasing the amount of ghosting that you get. And this comes from another tracker that you should be tracking every single day. And I've talked about this before in other videos of mine. I am maniacal about tracking every single important number for my business. But going back to quadrant number 1, which is just getting more leads. What if you do just get more leads, but you don't have the proper scripts or the charisma or the words? You don't know how to even talk to a client. You can pay for leads all you want, turn on the leads for faucet all you want, but they're going to be slipping through the cracks because you have holes in your boat and all the leads are just going right through and then just swimming away. So how do you stop the bleeding? How do you make sure that you don't have as many people ghosting you or standing you up? Let's start with scripting. Scripting is number 1. If you don't even know the basics of what to say to a buyer, to a renter, to a seller, to whatever your niche is, you need to fix that. You need to practice. So go find an accountability buddy and start role playing with them. It sounds corny, and it is in the beginning until you realize I'm not making fucking money. Then it's not going to be corny, it's going to become necessity. Now, aside from scripts, how else do you decrease the amount of people ghosting you? It's making sure that you have your systems set in place. When you add somebody to your KV Core or your whatever CRM you use, what exactly is the follow-up sequence? Are you able to just toggle it on and have it work for you? And I don't necessarily mean have the system start texting them automatically. I mean, have it remind you. That's what I mean by automations. I do not automate outgoing messages. I automate how I should be reminded of when to reach out to somebody. So are you doing that? Is your virtual assistant doing that? Is your in-person assistant doing that? How much time usually is spent in between you getting that initial lead and you getting the appointment? What are you saying? Where exactly did they fall off? And this is where you need to take an honest look at your business, an honest review, an honest audit, because that's going to determine what exactly the activities are that you'll need to work on for this step. So activity number 1 is look up all of the leads, not contracts, not closings, all of the leads that you got in the last 12 months would be preferred, or at least the last quarter, and how many are under contract, how many have signed with going to list with you or going to buy with you. Then find out how many are not buying with you or closing with you or plan on listing with you, and why. At what point did they become somebody that was actually going to purchase versus somebody that decided to ghost you. Step 2 or 3, whatever I'm on right now, is to open up your daily tracker. Again, this is another tracker that I have for every single person that joins me in my community at Exp Realty. It's a tracker that Ruben Garcia created, and I just made a little bit more colorful. I have this open throughout the day. So all of my contact attempts in the morning, I'm tallying. And throughout the day, as people respond, I am tallying those up as well. Every single day, I am tracking how many conversation attempts I make, how many actual conversations about real estate that I have, and how many appointments that I set every single day. And then I add it all up and then I bring it down to the weekly. How many do I do every single week by week, down to quarterly, down to annual. And then that's only part 1 of this step. Part 2 is finding the percentage. Out of all the people that you try to talk to every single day or week or quarter, how many actually respond? What is the percentage there of people that actually respond to you? How can you make that higher? How can you decrease the ghosting? Is it because you're sending mailers and maybe nobody wants to click the QR code because now there are so many QR code scams going around that people no longer feel comfortable with that? Maybe it's because you are sending mass text messages without personalizing their name, or maybe the biggest dip that you see is you actually have that conversation, but then you don't actually get appointments booked. Maybe that's the lowest percentage that you have. So if that's the case, then you need to work on your scripts. If majority of the dip is between your contact attempts and actually having a conversation, you need to work on your initial lead gen. Maybe the videos on YouTube that you're putting out are shit. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe your mailers look like trash. But if they're calling you from your mailer and they're not setting the appointment, then what is going on there? You need to dive deep into the weeds. There is a girl that joined our community. Her name is Rachel, and she has been crushing it. She is 18 years old, and within her first 3 months of being a brand new agent, having joined us completely virtual, she doesn't have anybody in her market. She found a group to keep her accountable and a group to help her script and role play every single day. And she has closed 2 homes within her first 3 months. She's 18 years old. That is exactly the type of person that we love having in our community. Someone who just takes the systems and runs with it. That doesn't need anybody in person. Because if you do need somebody in person, then you're not the agent for us. We would not be a good fit. But there are a lot of groups. Just Google groups that can help you script and role play. Another option would be, this is expensive, but it'd be to hire a real estate coach to help you script and role play and what to say. There are a ton of resources out there. Another activity to decrease the people ghosting you is to go on Workplace or whatever database your real estate brokerage has in order to talk to other real estate agents, even if they're not in the market. Actually, it's better if they're not in your market. And you can say, hey, I've been an agent. I've been stuck at 4 transactions a month. I can't seem to get above that. Can someone help me overcome this objection? And list out the objection that you realize in your analyzation of where you are going wrong. I'm meeting people in person at the open house and somehow they just do not want to have a follow-up. Can somebody jump on a call with me every Monday? I'll pay you for your time, and maybe you don't have to leave with that, but you could if you are actually super, super serious about it. Can someone jump on a call with me for 30 minutes or maybe 10 minutes every single Monday and just roll script that with me? Meet routinely. Now we're going over to the bottom right quadrant. The 4th way to make more money as a real estate agent and make more profit is to decrease your expenses. The longer a real estate agent stays in the business, the more and more they end up spending typically. Right? It's like normal lifestyle creep. Expenses go up, and then they hear of this service for this automated mailer. And sure, I'll sign up. It's only $20 a month. CapCut is only $20 a month. I'll sign up for that too. Oh, it's only, $10 a month for 1 terabyte of Google's storage space. Okay, I'll sign up for that too. Tom Ferry Coach is $650 a month for the lowest tier. I'll sign up for that too. You have all of these expenses, recurring expenses, sometimes annual contracts, that it's time now to trim the fat. The reason I did not start out with this is because this is probably one of the last ones I think to go, because you can only cut so many expenses, but on the other 3 quadrants, you can make unlimited more money by changing those other 3. But in this last one, you can only just get down to 0. You can't go below that. So the activities to cut the fat. Number 1, go on all of your credit card websites and go to the year-end statement or year-to-date statement and print it out, or if you'd rather do PDF, that's fine too, but highlight every single line item that has a recurring expense. What did you spend? Can you delete that? Or can you make that cheaper? Can you get that same exact service cheaper with a virtual assistant out somewhere else? Can you find a different editor? Whatever it is, go line by line through all of your business credit cards. Then number 2 is do the same thing, but in your personal life. Go through your personal credit card. What are you spending every single month? How can you decrease that? Number 3 is go into your bank accounts. What do you have automatically paying to other vendors? Can you cut that? Can you either delete it or find a cheaper alternative? Number 4 is open up that exact same KPI spreadsheet from one of the first quadrants and look up what is the lowest ROI that you're getting out of all your lead sources. Can you just cut that out completely? Or can you shift that amount of money or time and energy that you're putting into that into your number 1 lead source? But this is where you cut the fat. If you are not making the amount of money that you want to make, you have to make significant changes. Because what you are doing right now is not working. Can you get a roommate? Can you move to a cheaper house? Why do you have a car payment for a big ass truck when you're in real estate sales if you're not in construction? Do this for yourself, do this for your spouse, do it together, get on the same page. Become maniacal about tracking the amount of conversations you have, about tracking all of your lead sources in that KPI tracker. You should always know without a doubt, it should be black and white, what are your top 2 lead gen sources and what are your bottom most 2. If you want stuff like this daily, join me at Exp Realty. You can name me as a sponsor. There's a link in the description below. You have to be okay with being completely virtual. We are a virtual community. We have no team splits, so you would have all of our resources completely for free, no strings attached. The only split you're going to have is the 80-20 split with Exp Realty, because everyone has that. You would be joining as an individual agent. I just ask that you be 100% committed to your goals. And I ask that selfishly because I only want to surround myself around other agents that are 100% committed. See you in the next video.